big challenge was Bollywood.
Yeah, so I was like, me being a little bit of cuckoo, I packed up a suitcase and I moved to Mumbai.
Was this like a planned move or was it just an impulse?
Impulse.
Okay.
Just like moving to England was an impulse.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to go do it.
But
what's the worst that could happen?
But how do you do something without knowing what to do? Like, obviously, the Bhangra industry is very small.
According to some people, I have a PhD on how to do something that I had no idea how to do.
Yeah.
So I can't figure that out myself.
Yeah.
In retrospect, being older, wiser, mature, it's not advice I'd give my own children, where I'd be like, hey, go do what daddy did. No, I don't think so. But I did it. And like I said, I have a compulsion to constantly challenge myself, to beat myself up to see how much I can take and how much I can push back. I don't know where it comes from, but that's part of my DNA. It's part of how I'm built. Which is why I don't have much of a fear of stuff like it. Like even pain isn't like it's not a deterrent for me. Fear is not a deterrent for me. I don't get deterred. Like I just said, let's take it. Let's bring it on, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's rock and roll, man. And so when I got to India and Mumbai, I was like, okay, where do I start? And so you start meeting, you know a few people, and then people, oh, you're from UK, DJ Sanj, okay. So that opens a few doors. And then, you start networking a little bit and you start getting into the scene. And then whatever you think it is supposed to be, it isn't. And
what do you mean by that?
Like, so if I go back to so I'll tell you what overall structure of like what happened with India. I was there for 4 to 5 years, and I came out of India in 2010. So I left in 2006 to 2010. In that 4 years, I learned a lot about myself, and I was put in situations where. So how I run my life, I'll go back to this. You have principles and you have morality, right? People kind of think they're the same thing, but they're not. Morality is external. It's outside you. Principles are internal, inside you. So, morality, like you shouldn't kill, or you shouldn't be mean to people or whatever. But a principle is internal. It's the rule you make for yourself on how you want to conduct your life. So you make this rule, right? And everyone, they think they've got these principles. But the first thing, in my experience, that people will compromise when they say, oh, I'm compromise, is their principles, which is taking a piece of your soul. Like you've decided, like, this is why I get frustrated with people. If you decide this is the rule you want to live by, you made that decision to make this principle, this rule, you shouldn't break it for anybody. And I don't believe in compromise. I don't compromise. My principles, I will not compromise for anybody in this world because I decided what those are and I'm going to stick to them. And because I'm like that, I actually thrived after India and I was tested.
How was you tested in India?
Well, so when you move there, the first thing everyone tells you, everyone gives you their advice, right? This is about, they go, Mumbai, you have to compromise, Chad. Compromise. I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck does that mean? And what they're telling you is that like, you're going to have to bend a knee at some point to get what you want. So basically what they're saying is you're going to have to take it up the ass, right? Without Vaseline and like it so that you can get what you want. And I say it vulgar like that to make the point as clear as possible. Right? And I said, well, I ain't taking anything up there.
Wait, so this is for men as well as women?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Dude, listen, I got no problem with men hitting on me. At that point, like, listen, I used to be hot and sexy. That was my hot and sexy phase when I was in India. Right?
Wait, hold on. So regardless of how much talent you have, regardless of how many hits you've produced, this India Bollywood market, let's call them the gatekeepers. They're basically saying, if you want to open through this gate, you got to basically take a knee.
So, for example, like, You know, when you touch the feet, right?
Yeah.
As part of our cultural thing.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with that. But I was taught it's your elders.
Yeah.
Respect. There, they want you to bend over just because they want to see if you'll do it for them.
Yeah.
Because it makes them feel better, makes them feel empowered. And in India, like when you say oh, bola hega, like,
he's a softie,
softie.
Yeah.
Now, being kind and nice in India is equated to being an idiot or a fool. And that's the problem I had. I prefer to be nice and kind. I prefer that.
Yeah.
It's my preference. But if you want to be an asshole, dude, I got a PhD in asshole. I will out asshole you. Right? And so I prefer to be nice and kind. Yeah. But in India, they don't allow you to be. Yeah. And I ain't touching anyone. Like I was working with Preetam, Anu Malik. I did stuff with Sonar Nigam. I've worked with Jaidev Kumar, Harbhajan Man, Gurdas Man Sahab. Like I've got a list of people that I've worked with, given tracks to, given hits to, Bollywood stuff, behind the scenes. I did a lot of South Indian stuff, loads of stuff, right? And I was, because it's interesting. Like for me, I find it like a very, let's say, a cerebral thought process in the sense that like I was tested and I pushed back.
What's the worst thing that happened to you?
Oh, for example, okay, so yeah, see, I find it funny, but I think some people probably won't. So once people think you have a value you can add to them, in there, right? They want to control you and own you, right? Because they want to, because it benefits them. So there was a famous music producer, big time famous, right? I was doing music for him and production for him. And then he calls me up one day and goes, okay, I'm going to pick you up. We're going to go for lunch. I said, cool. Let's go. So I go to the car. It's a BMW. He goes, Sanj, only special people get to sit in my BMW. Yeah. So I said, okay. And then we go to this restaurant in Bandra. I think it was Bandra. And Chinese restaurant. And he goes, Sanj, I only take special people to this restaurant. I said, oh, okay. And then it's like, you know, the Chinese restaurant, they got that big round table. Yeah. So we're sitting at the table. I think there was like, it seats like, I don't know, 8. And he goes, Sanj, I only let special people sit at this table. I'm thinking, what the fuck is special shit going on? I said, okay. And so out of all the seats, he sits next to me. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? Which other seats? Yeah. So then he goes, Sanj, you're very special. And then he starts rubbing my thigh, like up. Like, if I rub your thigh up that close, you will start to feel uncomfortable. Yeah. So I look at this, right? And I'm taking a breath. I'm going, okay.
Do you understand what special is now?
Yeah, it clued on to me. Like, okay, I get why I'm so special. Okay, I get it. And so I took a second to think about my reaction. Yeah. How far do I want to go with this reaction? Because I already knew what I was going to do. Yeah. But how far?
This is a make or break moment for you now in your career in Bollywood.
Yeah. So the thing is, like this guy can make my career. He can set me up. He can introduce me to the right people. Like, everything. And there was not even a second doubt about my doubt, my reaction to what my choice was. There was never a doubt at my choice. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I just wanted to see how creative can I be in doing it, or how forceful do I want to be in doing it. So I told him, I said, listen, you punk motherfucker, take your hand off my fucking leg before I stick these chopsticks up your fucking nose. You touch me again, I will fucking break your fucking face. Yeah. I think I was pretty clear, right? And I wasn't worried about what's going to happen to my career, this, that, the other, right? But I said it with such conviction that he shit himself, right? I got up, took a rickshaw, went back, never heard from him again. And for me, it was just another day. Like, because the thing is, like,
would you, like, okay, you said it's another day. Did you see a lot of this happening in this Bollywood scene?
A lot of it. Because, so another story. So when I got into working out, right, this really nice guy, he was a model. Yeah. Good looking guy, right? jacked, 8-pack. You would eat like 2 eggs for lunch, right? And I didn't know how to work out and properly, right? He goes, I'll take you to work out. I said, cool. So I'd work out with him. And he would tell me that because he's a model and trying to be an actor, he goes, you have Lakshmi Fashion Week and all these places. Yeah. So all the fashion designers are male, right? And he goes, I don't know what to do because like they basically tell you, like, listen, you got to sleep with me, right? Like, I like you, they'll touch you and whatever, and you can't say anything. I said, why not? Look at you, man. You're jacked. Tell the guy to go fuck himself. Yeah. Like, it's me. Like, I must have came out of my mother's womb going, go fuck yourself. Like, that's just how I am. And he goes, I can't do that. So why not? He goes, well, my family, they had a business. They're a very reputable family. Because I left to go into Bollywood, they disowned me. I can't go back home. I got nowhere to go. I said, listen, can't relate to you. I don't know, because for me, it's such a knee-jerk react. Like, there's no distinction there. It's like, listen, tell them to go fuck themselves. And I said, dude, I don't know. I don't have that problem because I don't care. I'll sleep on the street. You cannot intimidate me. You cannot leverage me. It's one of my principles. I will never be leveraged. Yeah. You threaten me emotionally, physically, anything. Fuck off. I don't care. Right? Because I have to live with myself. I got to look at myself in the mirror, and I'm no one's bitch. Never been anyone's bitch. I'm never going to be anyone's bitch. And I told him that. And then about 3 weeks later, I never saw him again. And then I don't know what happened to him. But he was basically at the time he told me that he was basically being chased by one of the fashion designers. Yeah. Who was very prominent or whatever. And I never
chased
saw him.
As in he wanted.
Well, yeah, he wanted him, right? Yeah. And there were a lot of stories like that on the girl side.
This is what I wanted to ask. So on the girl side of things, did you ever kind of see what was happening with them?
Yeah.
And is it as bad as they say about the couch situation, etc.? Is that something that was prominent then, or was it something that was kind of was it an open secret?
See, I think that once you make a decision, you want to go into, let's say, the film industry or the fashion industry in Mumbai, let's say. Yeah. You've already made a certain calculation that's on the table. I think because you have to remember, these are people coming from all over India and all over the world. Okay. And some of them are naive, thinking that, this doesn't happen, or that it won't happen to them. Yeah. And then some of them are very aware this is part of the game. Okay. And they look at it as part of the game and they go, look, I don't care what I got to do. I just got to get here. Right. And so, like, for example, I remember there's like casting couch issues coming out, and I remember speaking to some girls, and at that time I went from Bhangra to Versova, in Underbelly area. And I remember in that, I think it was like 5 kilometers or something, there's like 1,000 models, right? Yeah. And everyone's beautiful. Like, it's like everyone's good looking, put makeup and everything. Everyone's good looking. And there's very few women that were like, oh my God, like, I got to do this. No. Like, a lot of women, like the models, were upset at the women that were calling out the casting couch. Because look, if all I got to do is to give the guy a blowjob, I'll give the guy a blowjob. I get the part, I get connected, and I'm going to build my network. And then I get to another step. And so they were mad at the girls that were causing problems, because then the more problems that those girls caused, saying, this guy was giving me, like, moving and making a move on me, or hitting on me or whatever, then that guy's were more reluctant and more careful about who he's going to proposition. Yeah. And so there was a lot of women were like, hey, like, why are you ruining it for the rest of us? And it just shocked me. Yeah. Right? Like, it was just like, I was just like, okay, it's so counterintuitive. And what I realized is that in that industry, people have already checked out their principles, and they put their morality in a box and they put it to the side, and they go, I just got to do what I got to do to survive and make it. And that's their thinking, because they think that making it is the be all and end all of life and their existence. And that's up to them. But I don't think that way. I never did. And it was incompatible. So in general, Mumbai was, and the Bollywood industry was incompatible with my principles and who I am as a person. So I was never gonna elevate myself to the top. I was never gonna be the top of the level because I was offending too many people and I was pushing back and everyone was saying, listen, you're a problem.
What was the repercussions for you for that? Like if you're kind of being in there, you're working your way up, you're working these big names, and at the same time you're the problem child.
Oh, the work dries up.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
So for example, like I remember like when I did Love Ajka.
Yeah.
Okay. My whole thing was, look, either you pay me and I don't get credit, or you put my name so I get promoted. One or the other.
Yeah.
Either I'm getting a benefit, you're getting a benefit. Either it fits your budget or whatever. For that film, they didn't want to do either. And I was lucky that Eros, the company that was doing the music, was like, no, you know what? We're doing work with Sanj. And, so that they fought to get my name in the film.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I'm not begging nobody for anything. Like either do it or don't do it, but I won't do it with you again. I don't care. And so slowly, like, because I can't be controlled, I can't be manipulated, I can't be bargained with. They just know that X. So I was slowly getting X'd out of everything. And I realized that, look, I had to make a choice. If I want to make it be really successful, I got to kiss some ass. And I said, no, I ain't doing it. Like, it was like a big, like, oh, I have to contemplate my existence and do whatever. I'm like, nah, I ain't sucking dick. Fuck it. Sorry, man. I ain't doing it. So it was like a decision. So then my focus started turning into the Punjab music industry.
But before that, I don't know how true it is. It could be hearsay. It could be people saying whatever. But is it true that you ended up on the streets?
Yeah. Yeah.
In India?
Yeah.
So like you've gone in?
Yeah. Yeah. So my mouth, as I think after this interview is going to prove, gets me into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And so, like you get into situations where like, listen, you have to do it this way or else. And I was put in a situation where that was happening. And I was like, listen, they're like, where are you going to go? You got nowhere to go. I said, no, I can sleep on the street. They're like, okay, go then. Otherwise, you have to do what I'm telling you to do, or you go on the street. So I'm going to go on the street. Thank you very much. And I remember, and
you actually went on the street.
Yeah. So there's like basically Carter Road. Yeah. I slept on Carter Road for 3 days. That's just in Bhangra. Right near where the water is a footpath, and I slept on the street. Right. And I remember, and this moment changed my life in a way. Like, how do I explain? It was very, it's hard to put it in words, but like, imagine like you're sleeping on the streets. Forget Canada being homeless. I'm in India, Mumbai, sleeping on the street outside, on Carter Road. And there's a homeless guy who's got like a raggedy blanket. And, he goes to me, sir, right? and it's cold. Like, it was cold at night, right? But it is what it is. And he goes, do you want my blanket? Because he can recognize that I'm not like I'm not a beggar. I'm not like, I'm not like that. Like, I'm obviously, he could tell I'm a foreigner or whatever. And he's like, he's confused. Why are you sleeping like on the street near me? Like, and he's like, but he offered me his blanket. And I started tearing up, because I realized that this guy has nothing, right? And he's giving me the one thing he does have, right? Out of kindness. Whereas I looked up and I saw all these wealthy people or people of influence and power. All they're trying to do is take. And it made me resent those kind of people to such an extreme that I said, I don't ever want to deal with those people. I never want those kind of people in my life. And I'm good. I'm good with just being smaller than they are. I don't care. I don't need to be like world famous. I don't need to be filthy rich. I don't need it, because with this, and that's what that moment taught me. And after that, I always am kind to people and generous. try to help. And I've always been like that. Like even with the course, I'm always like trying to help people, big them up. Whether they appreciate it or not, that's their problem. It's not my problem. It's their problem. And what I got out of it, what made me even more fearless was I was tested. My principles were tested in India. And I really wanted to be successful in India. I really wanted it. But I valued who I am and my principles more. And I'm not for sale for anybody. And I will not compromise. And all that did, like, ever since that happened, I just kept doubling down on that. And what it's done is it's put amazing people in my life. And it's given me such peace, because there's nothing anyone can do or this life can do that can break me or do anything that makes me want to compromise. Like what can the world do to me that hasn't already been done or tried? And so that confidence is inside me.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's why I can do an interview like this and not give a shit what the cameras say, what anyone thinks.
Of course.
Or, oh, he swears too much, or he says this stuff. I'll go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit. I'm my worst critic and I'm my best friend. Me. And that's how I am. And that's why I don't have a lot of the issues that most people have.
I Have an Opinion podcast. Its owners and associates take no responsibility for opinions or statements made by Sanj Singh, its co-hosts, callers, or their guests. Yes, I Have an Opinion podcast is meant for entertainment purposes only. It is not our intention to libel, discriminate, or annoy anyone. If you get annoyed, just tune into something else.